My life is too predictable, and I love it. I have a routine, I have a schedule, I ride my bike, I record voiceover, I edit my videos, and I go running. No surprises, no misadventures. It's what's allowed me to make 185 YouTube videos, ride almost 200 kilometers a week, and do everything in life in between. But recently, I found that I'm lacking something. There's a little spark that's missing. So today, I've decided to go out on my own, go on an adventure, and try and find that spark again. I live here, just north of the Sydney CBD, but today I'm going to catch the metro all the way to the end of the line to here and try and get home on my bike.
This is an all-stop service to Tallawong.
So why am I doing this? Well, for the longest time, being so organized has allowed me to upload really regularly and also spend time editing. But I've also found that it takes away from my creativity. Sometimes having a little chaos, having the unexpected is what gives you a bit of inspiration, is what helps you come up with cool stories. And I found that I haven't really left my comfort zone for a long time. I love going on pre-planned rides, not having any surprises and knowing that my day is going to go according to plan. But sometimes you just need to go and do something that is completely different, that will allow you to go and experience new things. And that's what I'm doing today. I've never been to Tallawong or Tallawong. Tallawong is the last stop on the line. I've never even been out there. It's in northwest Sydney. So let's go somewhere completely new, ride somewhere new, and see if we can even get home.
This is an all-stop service to Tallawong. The next stop is Chatswood.
The Sydney Metro in its current state has only really existed for the past year. Prior to that, it didn't go all the way to the city and I didn't have access to using it. One really cool thing is that they are driverless trains, meaning that I can stand at the end of the train or you can go to the front and you get a complete full view of what it looks like out of the front and back of the train because there's no driver compartment. Now I know plenty of you, especially overseas in Southeast Asia, are probably watching this right now and thinking, what's the big deal with the metro? But you have to understand that we've never had this before in Sydney, and having a proper metro train system actually brings us into the modern age. It's fast, efficient. During peak hour, the trains come every 4 minutes, and I get this in every day into work on the days that I don't commute. However, what's different for me today is that instead of going towards the city on the metro, I'm going to go all the way in the opposite direction. The first half of the trip was underground, but it wasn't long before we popped above ground and I got to see some of the stations for the first time. For the last few stops, not only did we travel above ground, we're actually traveling on an elevated viaduct. This is definitely a little bit of a novelty for me, and you got to look out the window and see so far into the distance. After about 45 minutes, my trip was coming to an end. Looking outside the window, I could see that the landscape had changed. From packed in apartment buildings to suburbia of houses to now what I could see seemed like some open fields and some farms and industrial areas. There was a serious turn coming up to the last stop and the whole train was on a camber leaning in one way as we went over this bridge. Kind of like how a roller coaster will kind of lean into a corner. And by the time we got to this final stop, I was one of the only people left on the train.
We're just coming up to Tallawong station now. I've been on the metro for about 45 minutes. I left home about an hour ago, and now we are in the middle of nowhere. Well, okay. Some people say it's not the middle of nowhere. For me, it's the middle of nowhere. Crotch angle right there. Right, I've just gotten off at Tallawong. First things first, let's turn on our Garmin. I'm just putting my address into the Garmin now. Alright, actually I won't dox myself. Calculating, 0%, 7%. Alright, in Garmin we trust. I just found a 128 gig memory card in my bag here that I've left from Three Peaks. Time to move. Woo, it's freezing! So cold!
There's the bridge we crossed earlier on the metro. So I was riding on the T-way before, but I don't think it's allowed. I didn't want to get hit by a bus or get in trouble, so I'm in the shoulder of the main road here. It's all right, there's not too many cars, still pretty quiet, and it's a decently wide shoulder. So as long as the cars are passing fine, then I'm all right with that. You know, it'd be handy, someone else to carry my cameras for me instead of having to ride back and pick them up. Oh yeah, I've got a little side quest for today. I want to find some hot food to eat or a nice pastry. Side quest, pastry. So we'll see if we can, I want to organically come across like a bakery. I'll just be past it and be like, oh, what's that? And just go in. So keep an eye out. Hungry Jacks doesn't count. I think this is what's perfect for a peaceful solo ride. Sectioned off bike path. Riding through the flowers and the trees, sun's out. Just going at a leisurely pace as well. Not even looking at my heart rate or my power. Just looking at everything that's around me. I think I spoke too soon before. I think I didn't give myself enough credit. There's quite a few bike paths out here that I am familiar with. And it's because I rode them when I did my full lap around Sydney on bike paths only, which is one of my favorite videos of all time. I'm gonna put it in the description, also pop it on the screen right now. You should definitely check out that video.
So I've had my first little curveball of the day. The Garmin's just frozen. It's zoomed out in like a view of the whole of Australia and it's not working. So I thought I'm just going to trust my instinct, trust my gut and just go the direction I think I should be going. And I've just come off the main road and look at this. There's a brand new cycleway, newly painted and everything. It looks beautiful. Look at that. I would never have seen this if I just kept following wherever the Garmin was sending me. So I'm glad I came off the main path there. Let's check out this new cycleway.
Alright, I know where we are now. We're in Parramatta. We're just on the outskirts of Parramatta now. And you know what that means. We can't come to Parramatta and not do a lap of Parramatta Park.
It's a real shame I don't come to Parramatta Park more often. It's got a dedicated cycle lane that goes around the park that's 3.2 kilometres long, only slightly shorter than Centennial Park. And where Centennial Park is a bit frantic, busy and fast paced, Parramatta Park is almost a bit more laid back and tranquil. As I soaked up the sun and enjoyed the cool winter breeze, I could hear my stomach rumbling and I knew it was time to have a little snack. I've got so many friends who come to Parramatta and ride, and every time they go to a bakery nearby called Lucien. So I know before I said I wanted to organically find a place, but I cheated and used Google Maps here. It wasn't too far and it was more than time to reward myself with a croissant and coffee.
Whenever my friends come to Parramatta, they always come to Lucien. I've never been here before, so this is a pretty exciting moment for me. Let's go check it out. Look at that. Thank you. Ooh, it's heated up nice. This is delicious, super flaky. The cheese has been like, you know when the cheese has been, it's like crispy? All the cheese is like that, especially on the bottom. Delicious. It's essentially like a potato gratin inside. Thinly sliced potato with cheese and chives in between each layer. And the potatoes beautifully soft. Just contrast the crispiness of the pastry.
1, 2, 3, pastries!
If that pastry was for my body, this coffee was for my soul. Oh my gosh, that hot coffee was just glorious. Would like to be in the sun right now, but it's alright. It's not too bad. At least it's not a massive wind. And thankfully, from Parramatta back home, I know the way pretty well. Really simple. We just follow Parramatta River. There's like a cycle path that goes almost all the way home from there. And then I actually have two choices. I can go back via like Epping Road through Lane Cove, or I can actually go through the city, which will be a bit longer, but might be more scenic. So I'm in two minds right now and I haven't decided, and I think I will decide while I'm riding. We should keep moving.
The next part of the ride is the most scenic part of this whole video, but before we get onto that, I want to have a little chat about how I made this video. Some of you may be wondering what video cameras I used, and the truth is this is one of my most ambitious video projects to date. I used not one camera, not two, but 3 different cameras. So in total, I used a handheld Insta360 Ace Pro 2, I used an Insta360 Ace Pro 2 on a tripod, and then I used an Insta360 X5 on the back of my bike to get those awesome drone looking shots. For me, a camera is a tool, and every tool has to have a purpose. The Ace Pro 2 with its flip screen is a perfect vlogging camera. I use this camera in 2 different ways. The first is with a bike mount, which means that I can handle my bike with both hands while still recording footage. And the second way is on the tripod, which lets me set up those beautiful still shots. And the X5 on the back of the bike, well, it doesn't need any explaining. It's such a unique perspective of being on the bike, and it's a perfect way of filming myself without having to get someone following close behind me. These cameras were sent to me by Insta360, but as someone who actually used to buy these cameras beforehand, it's actually pretty cool to be partnered up with them. If you would like to purchase one of these cameras and you'd like to help out my channel, please use my affiliate link in the description below.
What a cracking day. How good. Apart from the M7 cycle path, this is probably the best piece of cycling infrastructure in Sydney. This cycle path that just follows Parramatta River all the way from Parramatta to pretty much like Gladesville. The whole time it's pretty much like a 2-lane bike path, follows the water, really beautiful and quite smooth and flat. It connects all these suburbs that like are along the water, like roads. Actually goes to Bicentennial Park as well. So definitely check it out if you're here in Sydney. This is probably one of my favorite parts of this cycle path. It's this elevated walkway that goes through the trees. You feel like you're in like a treetop adventure. It's awesome. And then after this, it goes back towards ground level, but still a walk, like a boardwalk walkway through the mangroves. And I guess I've done this to protect their natural habitat, as well as probably keep the path out of some of the flood waters, because I think this area here is quite impacted by tidal flows. So pretty good engineering solution if you ask me. So that is Rhodes behind me, and behind me here is West Ryde, I believe. So we're actually not too far from home, and this is where I need to make the choice. Do I head back towards the city, or should I go just more direct way along Epping Road and the cycle path there? And I think I'm going to take the more direct way. I just know it a bit better. I know it's going to be bike path the whole way, and I think if I go the city way, I might get a little bit lost. Man, look, there's the brand new trains, the brand new like intercity trains. Oh, you can't really see it, it's so far away. So the sun is out right now. As predicted, the forecast has said the wind is going to pick up massively, and it is, but luckily it's blowing in like westerly. It's a westerly, and I'm only riding one direction. So I've got a tailwind for the whole ride, which has actually been a real joy because a lot of sections, like I'm barely pedaling and I'm just getting pushed along, and it's made the ride a lot more enjoyable. Anyway, I'm just standing on this little pontoon here, soaking in a bit of the sun, checking out the water, and I think it's well and truly time to start moving and getting home. I've been using this pair of race cargo bibs, and in one of the pockets I've been carrying a little travel bag of tissues, which I'm finally going to use because my nose is running like crazy in this cold weather. Oh no, what's this?
Something that's really underrated about being a cyclist is becoming very familiar with your local streets and your back roads. This little cycle path that I'm going on here, you would never know about. It's at the end of a cul-de-sac going into a nondescript park, going on a tiny bridge that goes into the back of an industrial area. But through cycling, I discovered this little path a few years ago while exploring on my gravel bike. I'm riding over Langcove River now. I can see a kayaker in the river below. The sun is out, it's a beautiful clear sky, and we're about to go onto the Epping Road cycle path, which is a path that I'm very familiar with because it takes me pretty much all the way home. As I got closer to home and my adventure was drawing to an end, I couldn't help but be appreciative and grateful for this little morning that I had by myself. I got to explore a new part of my city that I've never been to before. I got to rediscover paths, streets and suburbs which I probably underappreciated or took for granted. I'm going to end the video with a clip that I took about halfway through the ride, but I thought it would be more fitting to put at the end.
So what I wanted to get out of making this video was that I found that recently, maybe like the inspiration for the creativity has been a little bit dry. Don't get me wrong, coming up with video ideas is easier than ever. It also helps that you guys are always suggesting stuff in the comments. So I'm always thinking of new ideas, but I think thinking of ideas and then how to translate them into a video that's entertaining, that's thoughtful, that's genuine. I think I've been struggling with that a bit because when I'm just in my everyday schedule, there's not much room for that. So I really had like this urge that I need to go out and do something just out of my comfort zone, out of my normal routine. Something that would also give me a bit of time just to self-reflect. I'm a pretty frantic and impatient and very busy person usually. So I don't feel like I ever sit down and just really give myself time to think sometimes. So the ride today, I'm just taking it at the easiest pace. If I see something and I like it, I'm just gonna stop and I'm gonna take footage and I'm just gonna enjoy that moment. And I hope that you guys enjoy that. So just something I thought I'd do. Something I felt like I owed it to myself to do.
Alright guys, that is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it all the way to the end here, I really appreciate it. This video took me a hell of a long time to make. I've usually never shoot on more than one camera, so going to 3 was actually quite a lot of work. But I'm really glad that I did because it helped me show and tell my story a lot better, getting different angles, getting some more B-roll and stuff like that. I actually really enjoyed the process. If you enjoyed this video, why don't you let me know in the comments below. And if there's something you want to see more of, then please consider subscribing. Alright guys, take care and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.